Hello and welcome to my final video I'll be doing for Parenthood, and that is my top 10 list. So as I've said in my reviews for this series was kind of okay. There was a lot of good stuff in it, particularly in the Grasslands episode, and that will be apparent in this list. But generally speaking, most episodes had a couple of really good things in it, but by and large they were just okay. With that aside, here are the top 10 best moments for me from the series. So number 10, I've got the tapirs from the last episode. It's just nice seeing tapirs, you don't see them very often. I think the last time I saw them was in Life of Mammals, and while they were doing basically the same thing, it was a very nice twist. It was good seeing the mother leader calf to the clay pools. And infrared as well, it was really good. Infrared was used pretty well in this series, I thought. There was a few sequences that were really good. And yeah, it was a pretty good sequence. I just liked it. I think just because it's not an animal I see very often. And one that I think looks quite unusual. I just liked that. I thought it was pretty good. At number 10, I've got the guanacos. The guanacos were really good. It was a really good emotional sequence. It was probably one of the best conservation stories from the series, showing you the guanacos try to cross fences. Obviously, the young can't do it, so the parents have to go back with them. It was really harrowing watching all the dead guanacos. And when the mother and calf that were following make it to lower ground to their feeding grounds, manage to get past all the fences, it is very rewarding. I enjoyed it. It was a good sequence. And number 8, I've got the African wild dogs. We see African wild dogs hunting much larger animals, usually wildebeest. But this was different because it showed you the teenagers hunting and how useless they were. The drone footage is what really tipped this over the edge for me. The drone footage of the African wild dogs hunting the buffalo, which is not an animal you'd think African wild dogs would be able to take on. And to be fair, they don't really. It's just great. I didn't think I would enjoy the sequence as much as I did, but it was pretty good, undeniably, and I enjoyed it. And number 7, I've got the elephants crossing the river. Throughout this series, and in a lot of more recent BBC Natural History series, I do tend to feel that there isn't a lot of threat, especially when it deals with younger animals. So watching the elephant calves cross with their families, this river that's clearly too powerful for them, I did genuinely, to my surprise, feel like the calves might get swept away, or at least one of them would. And while it doesn't happen, the fact that there was a lot of tension there was very good, and not something I tend to get in these series very often. And number 6, I've got the San Joaquin kit fox, another animal I had no expectation for being on this list. It was just really good. The infrared stuff was great because it really added a lot of tension. While we see the mother struggling to catch prey, the coyote going after the kits was great because it actually had threat. And not only did it have threat, it delivered on it because one of the kits gets taken by the coyote, and it is quite sad. I was totally going into this sequence expecting loads of cutesy stuff, maybe some funny moments with them trying to catch the kangaroo rats, but no, what I got was a very tense sequence and one that actually did make me feel quite sad by the end. So I really liked that. That's something you don't get a lot in these series, particularly this one, and I thought it was very good. And number 5, yet another infrared sequence. This might be the last one I've got on the list. That is the hippos. So the hippos at night was great. Just within foraging was cool, but what was really good was watching the lions go for them, because that's not something I would have thought would happen. I didn't think lions could take on hippos, but here we see they do, and the hippos are, pretty much bricking it. You think a hippo would be pretty much off the menu for a lion, and I get the young one, but there's that other hippo that ultimately does get taken by the lions, that is also shitting himself. That was really good, because throughout the sequence, it subverted my expectations, and despite the fact that it was in the very first episode of the series, it's one of the sequences I am still thinking about the most from the series. So that's pretty good. And number 4, I've got the cheetahs. So this was interesting. Not just watching the cheetahs hunting, that was fine. It was watching the cheetah kidnapping the gazelle and taking over to its cubs to basically let them play hunt it. That was really cool because it's a behaviour I was aware of, but I never thought I'd see on screen just because it's quite dark. And I think they showed as much as they could because obviously that sequence wasn't going to have a very nice ending. I'm glad we showed enough to show that this is ultimately a very useful skill for the cheetahs, but it's also quite a dark behaviour. Number 3, I've got the sequence that I had absolutely no anticipation for it being on this list, absolutely none whatsoever, and that was the sand grouse. I fully expected the sand grouse to be boring, to be something I'd seen before, and really it was similar to what I'd seen before. The tension was great. The various birds of prey in the sequence were great antagonists for the sand grouse, and had a very Wild Westy feel to it. And the last shot of the eagle swooping in at the last moment to get that sand grouse that we've been following and ultimately getting away was great. It was in slow motion, it was really cool, completely blew my expectations out of the water. Really liked it. And number 2, I've got what I would say is the darkest sequence from the series, and that's the sociable weavers. It was really cool seeing them interacting and how their community flourishes when everything's right, but then as soon as the temperature rises just a little bit, it just deteriorates and it just becomes Lord of the Flies. Watching the weavers throw their neighbours' chicks out the nests is pretty dark. It's pretty harrowing stuff. Not something I expected, and it's not something we fully understand, which I think makes even more dark the fact that there's no real clear explanation. We can't really put our fingers on why this is happening. It's really good. It was a very understated look at climate change, I think. I think we get a lot of obvious ones. This was understated, and I think that was useful because it shows you that there's things that we don't even understand that's happening, which obviously leads the way for more things like that to happen. It was really good, really dark, and also an animal you don't see very often. Number 1, though, the best sequence from the series was right back in the first episode. It's easily the most memorable one, and that is the social spiders. This is just weird and dark and creepy and very, very effective. Watching the mother look after her young, feed them and everything, that's fine. The social spiders themselves are pretty creepy. The footage of them just communally hunting insects is quite creepy. The imagery is there. And then when the young spiderlings basically eat their mum alive, very dark, and then just do the same to all the other members of the community. Not something I expected. I knew about the mum. I figured that would happen. Didn't know about the other spiders. That just seemed unnecessary to me. Really good stuff. Not what I expected. Very, very creepy. I'm not someone who's scared of spiders, but I found that pretty unsettling. And yeah, very memorable. Really good stuff. Best part of the series. So yeah, let me know in the comments below what you thought of this list. Did you agree with me? What were your highlights? Were there things I missed off here? I feel like I got everything that I really liked. Maybe the Garrets, that's maybe the missing one. But you know, I feel like everything in here that I thought was great was in here. And yeah, next week I'll be going back to my 7 Worlds, 1 Planet reviews. But as ever, let me know what series you want me to talk about in the future, because that will finish at some point, so let me know. And yeah, feel free to like, comment, and subscribe, or don't if you don't want to. It's perfectly fine. And I'll see you next time, and goodbye.